Good morning. We will come to order as the St. Lucie County Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearing for June 3rd, 2026. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 3 on the agenda calls for the approval of the minutes of May 6th, 2026, the hearing of that day. I have reviewed the minutes as prepared, and I approve of the minutes as special magistrate. Madam Secretary, please swear in all the staff members who will be testifying today.
William Durden.
Oscar Moreira,
Paula Guy,
Melissa Brubaker,
Brian
Alves,
Marlene Moise,
Josh Guevara.
James O'Connor,
Audra Lenise.
Peter Arvido.
you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes.
Number 5 calls for public comments. This section pertains to any issue that's not on the agenda. So if you have anything you'd like to say, address me. At this time, it's your opportunity. First Amendment. Okay. Nobody will move on to the consent agenda. I'll read into the record the items on the consent agenda today. Rescind finding of fact, conclusion of law, and order for the AC Trust. This is case number 2304-110612. Stipulation agreement. Jason and Jennifer Thomas. Case number 2602-116679. Request for a fine reduction hearing at 8251 and 8253 Business Park Drive in cases number, and I'm going to read just all the case numbers because it's the same property. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 requests for a hearing on these cases. Case number 2208, 108, 704, 2208, 108, 705, case number 2208, 108, 706, case number 2209, 108, 737, case number 2209, 108, 738, 2209, 108, 739, and case number 2509, 108, 740. In reference to the cases that I just read into the record, I, as special magistrate, accept and adopt the consent agenda as submitted with the recommendations of staff. Section number 7, fine hearings. Cases that we address in this section have already been found in violation. So what we're looking at today is imposing a fine if the cases have not been abated. If your case is called, you'll have an opportunity to address the special magistrate, and you'll need to tell me frankly, not whether or not you violated, because you've already been found in violation. Tell me what you've done to improve the situation, and give me any facts and status on any improvements you've made, and if you haven't abated, when you anticipate abating. This case was continued from our last meeting on May 6th. Case number 2511, 116210. Location of violation is a vacant lot next to 4200 Metzger Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Precision Rentals and Investments, LLC. The investigating officer in this case is Paula Guy. Is anybody here for the fine hearing in this particular case that I just read? All right. Ms. Guy, please tell me what's going on with this case.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, I'll be submitting the photos that are taken by myself to include an aerial view from the property appraiser as well. This case did come in as a field observation that I observed while responding to a complaint on the same street back in November of 2025. The observations of violations was the activity of storage and commercial equipment and vegetation debris being stored in an industrial zoning vacant parcel. So the notice of violation was issued on November 14, 2026, compliance date December 1st, 2025. The stipulation agreement was signed back in February 3rd, 2026, with a date of compliance agreed upon for April 4th. As of today's date, it's still in violation, and the last communication that took place with the registered agent and one of the company reps was on February 3rd, 2026.
So they did not comply with the stipulation agreement as they agreed to.
That is correct, and they ceased all communication after the agreement was signed. We've not been able to reach them or have any response, and the activity is still going.
And you're recommending a fine of $250 per day beginning April 5th, 2026, with a maximum fine of $10,000?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. In reference to case number 2511, 116210, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting April 5th, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Here is another case that was continued from our last hearing. Case number 2504, 114929. Location of violation, 7211 Elise Circle in Port St. Lucie. Property owner, Catherine and Matthew Crinian. Investigating officer, Rolande Moyes. Is anybody here for this case? Ms. Moyes, please tell me the status of this case.
Yes, good morning. For the record, I am submitting one photo dated June 17, 2025, one photo dated June 27, 2025, one photo dated August 4, 2025, two photos dated May 5, 2026, one photo dated June 1, 2026, and a copy of the expired permit number 2203-0125. And two copies of a property appraiser's aerials for 2021 and 2024. This case originated from an expired permit list, permit number 2203-0125 for the construction of a boat dock and lift. The property located at 7211 Elise Circle was found in violation for section 11.05.01A, time limitations of building permit. Permit number 2203-0125 for the boat dock has expired to no final inspection. Please obtain a new permit by contacting the permitting department at 772-462-1553. A notice of violation was issued on April 22, 2025, with a correction date of May 6, 2025. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear was issued and posted on the property on January 9, 2026 for the February 4, 2026 St. Lucie County Special Magistrate meeting. On January 27, 2026, I informed the owner of the stipulation agreement for the correction of the violation as the hearing date was approaching. On January 29, 2026, the owner made a decision to enter into a stipulation agreement. The stipulation agreement was signed and submitted on January 30, 2026. The signed agreement provided the owner 90 days for correction of the violation to be completed by May 1, 2026. Due to non-compliance, the case went before the May 6, 2026 Special Magistrate meeting. The owner was not present, and the Special Magistrate made a decision to continue the case to the June 3, 2026 meeting. On June 3, 2026, the permit was renewed and issued. The property was in violation for 31 days. I have had contact with the owner and the contractor.
So they've abated, but just not by the agreed date in the stipulation.
Correct. The permit was they just made payment on the permit and they just issued it.
We're here for compliance.
Yes, sir.
It looks like we got compliance.
Yes, sir.
So is staff recommending, because on the agenda it says it's recommending a fine of $250 per day beginning May 2nd, and that would be for the 31 days.
Paula
Does
Guy.
staff
Yeah, Paula
have
Guy,
any
code enforcement
revised
supervisor.
recommendation?
Paula Guy, code enforcement supervisor. The county doesn't object to no fines being imposed, as at the end of the day, we want compliance.
Because everything was abated.
Yes, sir.
Counsel,
No
any
objection.
objection?
No objection, Your Honor. I think it was just very recent that they got the permit, and so the agenda was already set. But
In reference to case number 2504-114929, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violations have been abated and no fine is imposed. Case number 2509-115-775, location of violation 7240 South US Highway 1 in Port St. Lucie. Property owner BBT Holdings of Florida, LLC. This case has been abated. Case number 2509-115-776, location of violation 7240 South US Highway 1, Port St. Lucie. This case has been abated. Case number 2512-116294. Location of violation 119 Balsa Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Zolene Holcomb. Is Oline Holcomb here, or anybody representing this case? The investigating officer is Mr. Morera, so Mr. Morera, we'll hear from you at this point.
Good morning, Magistrate. For the record, I am submitting a total of 25 pictures. One dated December the 1st, 2025. 2 photos December 22nd, 2025. 3 photos dated December the 31st, 2025. 1 photo dated January the 12th, 2026. 4 photos dated January the 26th, 2026. 5 photos dated February the 2nd, 2026. 4 photos dated April the 28th, 2026. 1 aerial photo from the property appraiser website, and I am submitting 6 photos dated June 1st, 2026. This case was brought to the February 4th, 2026 court board meeting for Section 3.0103 Juliet, residential single family. Commercial trailers are not permitted in residential districts, please remove. Section 8.00.05 swimming pools. All swimming pools are required to be completely closed with a screen enclosure, fence, or wall at least 4 feet in height. Section 11.05.01 building and sign permits. Please obtain a permit for the above the ground pool. Section 8.00.03 Foxtrot outdoor storage or recreational equipment. Only 2 recreational equipment such as the trailers and boats are allowed on the property. Please remove additional. At the February 4, 2026 court board hearing, the special magistrate found the property in violation, made the decision to schedule to the June 3, 2026 court board fine hearing with a compliance date of May 5, 2026. As of June 1st, there is no permit on file for the above the ground pool and the property remains in violation.
Was the property owner here for the violation hearing, or was it a default?
They were here that day, Your Magistrate.
Yeah. And we indicated. All right, is it staff recommendation, I'm looking at $250 per day beginning May 6th. Maximum fine $9,000. That's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Magistrate.
Why 9 and not 10?
Usually it's because of the 10% of the property value, so
Okay,
yes, Your Magistrate.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
In reference to case number 2512-116294, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, a fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting May 6, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $9,000. This is recommended by staff. Case number 2512-116282. Location of violation 5095 Amy Lane in Fort Pierce. Property owner Christopher McPeak. I've been informed that this case has been abated. Case number 2512-116374. Location of violation 5607 Cassia Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Kalazuba Berto Gonclaves D. Oliviers out of West Palm Beach. I hope I pronounced that properly. Is anybody here? Yes, sir, please approach.
Right here to the podium.
You'll need to be sworn in if you're going to testify.
No problem.
Please state your name and address. Your name and address.
Anthony Gizzi, 702 Southeast Celtic Avenue, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34983.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Sir, how are you related to this property?
I'm the general contractor he hired after the code enforcement.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Ms. Moyes, and then you'll have an opportunity to address us as well this morning. Ms. Moyes.
Yes, for the record, I am submitting 8 photos dated December 17, 2025, 2 photos dated February 18, 2026, 2 photos dated March 30, 2026, and 1 photo dated June 1, 2026. This case was brought before the April 1, 2026 Special Magistrate Meeting for Section 11.05.01 Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the AC unit, Section 11.0501 Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the interior and exterior renovations, Section 11.05.06 Notice of Vegetation Removal to please obtain a vegetation removal permit for the vegetation removed. A notice of violation was issued on December 17, 2025, with the correction date of December 31, 2025. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear letter was issued, certified mail, and posted on the property on February 18, 2026 for the April 1, 2026 Special Magistrate Meeting. At the April 1, 2026 Special Magistrate Meeting, the owner was not present. The case was given a default compliance date of May 8, 2026. Permit number BLDR-2601-010529 was filed on January 13, 2026, and permit number VRP-2601-005450 was filed on January 27, 2026. The permits have not been issued. I have had contact with the owner and the owner's niece, Allie. As of June 3rd, 2026, the property remains in violation.
No vegetation removal permit?
It was filed, but it has not been issued.
Okay, so none of the permits have been issued
No, sir.
for the AC unit, the exterior and interior renovations, and the vegetation removal.
That is correct.
Correct. I'd like to ask the building official why they haven't been issued?
William Durden, plans reviewer. The permit appears to be waiting for a review from zoning. The comments. Actually, there was 9 comments that were sent out for zoning requirements. A building that has already completed their review and approved. The remainder will fall with zoning. It appears to be health department approval. That's what they need is health department approval, and they're done. They can issue the permit.
All right, sir, you're up.
Yeah, the health department, they just were asking about the septic, and they wanted us to give them a plan to redo the septic, so we put a variance in to ask them to leave it alone. We didn't touch that, there were no issues with it. So I think that's the only thing we're waiting on,
So
but we're trying to resolve
when did you
it.
do that?
Last month, before the 15th, I think that's when it had to be in. Certain form.
How long does that typically take?
That's with the health department, that's not.
It's hard to say, right?
I do
think they
have
do
an
every other
email
month.
from the health department
Yes, Ms. Moyes.
that was sent yesterday, And they stated that the result letter for this variance request has been drafted and will be sent to the final reviewer today. Once they review it, it will be sent for signature, then issued. So they anticipate the issuance will be in the coming weeks. So they're working diligently to go ahead and get it finalized for them.
Okay, it looks like things are moving along, and that's what we're looking for. We're going to continue this case, and then we'll see at our July 1st hearing, and I will continue this case to our July 1st hearing, 2026, and we'll see if the health department has issued what it needs to issue, and then we can go forward.
Thank you.
All right, so continued by the special magistrate and to our July 1st hearing. Thank you, sir.
Good, thank you.
Case number 2601, 116437. Location of violation, 3601 Avenue S in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Affordable Housing of Florida, LLC. Is anybody here? Please state your name and address and be sworn in.
Melissa Canales, 5387 Northwest Milner Drive, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34983.
Okay. You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Paula Guy, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak.
Thank you. On January 8th, 2026, citizen complaint received regarding the structure at 3601 Avenue S being in disrepair. For the record, all photos submitted are true and accurate representation of my observations while on site. 3601 Avenue S was found in violation of the section 13.0900 exterior property maintenance. The roofing components must be in good repair. They need to be replaced or repair the deteriorated soffits and fascia on the main residence. At the hearing on April 1st, 2026, the property managers for the affordable housing were present, of Melissa Canales and Deidre Kidwell. Was found in violation. And since the day of the hearing, I've had no communication with the business or the property managers outside of the hearing that took place. And as of today, the property still remains in violation and also is in violation again for overgrowth, as you can see in the photos.
Yes, Ms. Canales.
I'm still constantly trying to work with Mr. Hatfield. My hands are tied until he decides to do something, unfortunately.
So nothing's been done since the
No.
case was found in violation. Okay, thank you for your candor.
Yeah,
Staff recommendation is $250 per day. Beginning June 2nd, that would be yesterday, right?
Correct.
With a maximum fine of $10,000, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? All right, in reference to case 2601-116437, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations, I make the following determination. As recommended by staff, a fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting June 2nd, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Thank you.
thank you. I had one more question. Am I here for you too today?
You gotta wait for it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It's at the very end. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Ronnie, tell her she gotta wait. Tell her not to leave. Tell her not to, Ms. Canales, you got,
She's coming back.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
on the addendum.
I didn't know that, okay, sorry.
Case number 2509-115901. Location of violation is 1901 South 33rd Street in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Alex Hensley. Sir, please approach, give your name and address, and be sworn in.
My name is Alex Hensley,
And your address?
1901 South 33rd Street.
Please raise your right hand. You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Paula Guy, first.
Thank you. For the record, the photos submitted were taken by myself and are true and accurate representation of my observations. Citizen complaint was received for persons living in an RV on a vacant parcel at 1901 South 33rd Street. It was found in violation of Section 3.01.03, subsection L. Outside storage is prohibited without a primary structure on a vacant parcel. The hearing took place on March 4th, 2026, with the owner present, and a date certain was set for compliance of April the 8th, 2026. The property was rechecked on April 10th, 2026, and remained in violation. An additional check was done again this Monday on June 1st, 2026. Progress has been made on the removal, but other items still remained. The owner has been in communication with me on a regular basis as he's working to correct all the violations. I spoke with him late yesterday. He was still working into the night and is here today to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Guy.
Thank you.
Mr. Hensley, how long is it going to take you to finish up here?
Oh, I finished last night at 1 in the morning.
I
You
didn't.
need to go
I
out
did
there
not
and verify.
inspect at 1 a.m. No.
So she has to come over and take a look. What I'm going to do is just find you in violation, and not in violation, you've been found in violation. Just I'll put a motion for a fine hearing in place, but the date will be after today, and then you can go look at it, and if it's abated, then the fine won't take effect, correct?
Correct. Now, we do have a date certain on record of May 16th.
I noticed
So we'll be
that.
bringing that back to the next fine hearing?
No,
Or-
what I'm gonna do is, I was thinking of having a begin date of June 5th for the
Thank you.
fine. So that gives you plenty of time, a couple of days to go out there, look at everything, and find the case abated.
Thank
If
you.
it's not abated, then a fine will start running, okay?
All right. I was going to say I have pictures and everything if you want to see that.
That's fine, but the officer really has to, I believe you, and that's why I'm not going to impose a fine starting in May. But Ms. Guy has to look at it and sign off, okay?
All right.
In reference to case number 2509-115901, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting June 5th, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $7,000. So that, it's not tabled, so it starts running, if it's not done by June 5th. Okay, and you can go over there. If it looks fine, then it's been abated,
Thank you.
and we don't deal with it. Okay. I believe that concludes the fine hearings for today, unless, I don't believe there's anything else on fine hearings. All right, sir, you understand. There's no fine. As long as she says so. Okay, it's on her. All right. All right, let's start the violation hearings. Case number 2604, 117078. Location of violation 1008 North 39th Street in Fort Pierce. Property owner Cedric Lundy and Shirley Ellis. And this case has been removed by staff for compliance efforts.
Sir, he's going to read one thing and then we're up after that.
Case number 2604-117082, location of violation 4007 Avenue I, Unit A, in Fort Pierce. The property owner is FG Florida Group, LLC. This case has been abated. Case number 2604-117145. Location of violation 3702 Avenue I in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Torren Walker. Is anybody here for this case? Yes, sir. Please approach, identify yourself, address, and be sworn in.
State your name and address.
Torren Walker, 3702 Avenue I, Fort Pierce, 34947.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Walker, we'll hear from the investigating officer, Brian Alves, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak as well.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
For the record, I am submitting 4 photos dated 04/23/2026 and 4 dated 6/01/2026. 3702 Avenue I was found in violation of section 13.09.00, exterior property maintenance. Accessory structure, section 302.7, please repair or remove the fence. Code 38-26, outside storage. Outside storage items are not permitted. Please remove the items. A notice of violation letter was issued on 04/07/2026. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear letter was issued on 05/14/2026 for the code enforcement hearing of 06/03/2026. As of 6/01/2026, the property remains in violation. The property was posted on 5/15/2026. I've had contact as of this morning with the property owner.
Okay. Mr. Walker,
Yes, sir.
what are you doing?
You mean with the property? The property has been fixed. I called him this morning, but he said he wouldn't have had time to come out before the hearing to check it out.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Walker, that you're in compliance with everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to do what we did with the previous case. Give Mr. Alves a couple days to be able to go out there and take a look at everything. If not, a fine's going to, there is no fine, I'm sorry, because this is a violation hearing. So we'll just, we'll find you in violation. It's just a bookkeeping. Well, the default compliance date recommended by staff is July 3rd. So because this gentleman showed up, I'm not gonna do a June 5th. We'll do like the default date of July 3rd. That gives you plenty of time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll go out there this afternoon.
Okay, that's fine, but we'll just do it that way. In reference to case number 2604-117-145, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violation in fact did occur, and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 3rd, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as a cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance, at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. So what we've done here is Mr. Alves can go out there, and if he sees everything's good, then the case is abated. If he doesn't, you still have time, because I gave you till July 3rd. Okay, so if he goes out there and says, well, you got to still do this, you'll have time to do that.
No
And
problem.
then hopefully it all goes away and you never see me again.
All right,
Okay?
appreciate it.
Okay, take care now.
Thank you. Do the same.
Bye. Case number 2605-117-218. Location of the violation is 2880 Harson Way in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Gate Envision LLC. This case has been abated. All right, we have a companion case situation here, so I'll read both of them into the record. And then we can hear testimony regarding both cases because they are related, and I believe it's the same violations. Okay. Case number 2503-114-709. Location of the violation is 7419 Commercial Circle in Fort Pierce. The property owner is FCC Environmental Services Florida, LLC. And the companion case. Case number 2503-114708. Location of violation, 7413 Commercial Circle, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34951. And the property owner is FCC Environmental Services Florida, LLC. I believe the only distinction here, I just want to look, is same site, but two different addresses. I believe, Mr. Morera, that's correct, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. They're on the same location, but they're divided by two different parcels.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, gentlemen, please state your name and your address and be sworn in.
Brandon Drenth, 7419 Commercial Drive.
It was Brandon what? I'm sorry.
Drenth.
Okay, thank you.
Troy Hayes, 5324 Northwest 80th Ave in Gainesville.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, gentlemen. You've seen how we're doing things, so we'll hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Morera, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak as well. Mr. Morera.
For the record, I am submitting 2 photos dated March 20, 2025, 3 photos dated June 1st, 2026, and 1 aerial image obtained from the property appraiser website. During my inspection, I found the property located at 7419 Commercial Circle to be in violation of Section .05.00, procedure for obtaining a development permit. Zoning compliance required to run an environmental services and recycling business from the property. Section 42-103, that's for the tax prerequisite to engage in a business. Please obtain a business tax receipt license. I issued a notice of violation letter on March 26, 2026, and gave a compliance date on April 9, 2026. After getting no compliance certified notice to appear for the June 3rd, 2026 court board meeting was issued on May 5th, 2026, and delivered May 7, 2026. I remain in contact with the property owner, and as of June 1st, 2026, the property remains in violation. This is for the property at 7413 Commercial Circle. During my inspection, I found the property located at 7413 Commercial Circle to be in violation of Section 110500, procedure for obtaining a development permit. It's only compliance required to run an environmental services and recycling business from the property. I am submitting 3 photos dated March 20, 2025, 5 photos dated June 1st, 2026, and an image from the property appraiser website. A notice of violation letter was issued on March 26, 2026, and gave it a compliance date on April 9, 2026. After getting a compliance certified notice to appear for the June 3rd, 2026 Code Board meeting was issued on May 5th, 2026, and delivered May 7, 2026. In the past, I have remained in contact with the property owner. A showing compliance -2411-0000431 is currently on a waiting application status, and as of June 1st, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you, Mr. Morera. Gentlemen, anything you care to add?
Yes, certainly. So the two properties.
Please speak into the microphones, because we have to record everything.
Of course, yes. Is that better?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, great. So the two properties are next to each other right there. For the parking area, the north property, we have submitted plans to build a new parking area in compliance with the county building department, county codes. It is under review with the building department, and I believe we have a meeting tomorrow to go over the plans. So hopefully we can get that permit. It's also been submitted to the Water Management District, so we're moving forward with that design to get the parking area for the garbage trucks into compliance with the county codes. As for the building on the south, the actual operations, FCC is not actually operating in a recycling facility. They only use that facility for maintenance of the trucks. So if we need to change the zoning for that, for any reason, we thought the heavy industrial met that, but I think that's maybe a clarification of the operations that are going on there. That is where we sit with the items on here. Any questions?
Thank you. Business Navigator, Ms. Lenise, do you have anything to add?
Sure, good morning.
Good morning.
We've had quite a few conversations with FCC over the years about what we needed to bring this site. This is an older site that was originally a glass manufacturing facility. We've had a couple of tenants and needed to get it up to current speed, including the parcel to the north is where they park many of their vehicles, and that has never been fully developed for the use. So they have now submitted two things, an application to update the site plan that covers the two parcels that you're looking at today, as well as an application to develop 3 other parcels elsewhere in the park to provide auxiliary parking for the site so that they can meet the needs of the waste removal vehicles and their staff. That was submitted approximately 6 weeks ago. It will go before the Development Review Committee tomorrow. This is going to be a fairly long process for them. Once we get through the site plan approvals for these 2 different locations, then there's going to be the task of getting the permits to do the required work. And then, of course, they're going to have to go through and do the actual work. So they have a ways ahead of them before they get to the point of applying for their zoning compliance and being able to actually get it. I have a feeling we're going to get to know each other quite well.
This property is located in the Kings Highway Industrial Park.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Who would file a complaint here? I mean, it's in an industrial
I
park.
believe the initial complaint was actually when the site was operated by the previous owner. It was previously owned by Arcosa Myers, which is a manufacturer of concrete poles for the utility industry. And they developed another location here in St. Lucie County and sold this location. I believe there was originally complaints about the use of right-of-way for parking going back to then, and the parcels remained on our radar because of that.
Nice.
It's been quite some time.
So what kind of time frame are we looking at, gentlemen? You're doing everything you can to expedite this?
Yes, we have the plan sets submitted. We're waiting on permits right now from both the county. I guess we're meeting with the building department, I guess, tomorrow. Is that correct? We have a meeting set up, and
To clarify, the meeting tomorrow will be with the planning department
I'm sorry.
and the other reviewing departments. They're not quite to the permit stage yet.
They're operating in an industrial park.
They are indeed.
Okay.
And I believe the zoning is industrial light.
Okay. It would appear to see that a continuance, I think, would be in order here. The staff have any objection? Maybe we can take a look at this in 3 months and see how far they've come.
No objection.
No objection? Okay. What I'm going to do is you'll come back and show us what the progress is, and if I see things moving along, then we won't find you in violation and we'll move forward. Okay? We'll try to do it right. So, let's take a look here. All right. It's going to take some time, I know. But the fact that it's in an industrial park, I don't believe it's really causing anybody any problems at this point. And we want compliance, and it looks like this business wants to do it right. And you're going to spend the money to do it, right? You're going to spend the money to do it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's your testimony. You're going to spend the money to do whatever has to be done. Okay. I, as special magistrate, will continue case number 2503 114-709 for an update at our September 2nd, 2026 hearing. And also, companion case 2503 114-708. I, as special magistrate, will continue this to our hearing on September 2nd, 2026. All right, gentlemen. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert.
Case number 2603-116-801. Location of the violation is 1167 South Header Canal Road in Fort Pierce. The property owners are Barbara C. Batson and Christy Batson. Are the Batsons here? Seeing no one, we'll move on. Case number 2509-115799. Location of violation is 4937 Melissa Lane in Fort Pierce, and the property owner is the estate of Edmund A. Taylor. And for the record, sections on the violation A, B, and C have been abated. So we're going to deal with sections D, E, F, E, F.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please state your name and...
My name is Laura Collier, 4937 Melissa Lane, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34946.
Good morning. Please
Good
be
morning.
sworn in.
Please raise your hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Moreira, and then
Yes.
you'll have an opportunity to speak as well.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. For the record, I am submitting a total of 16 pictures. 2 pictures February the 10th, 2026. 6 photos dated April the 17th, 2026. 1 photo dated April the 22nd, 2026. 3 photos dated May the 27th, 2026. 3 photos dated June the 1st, 2026. And I want one aerial image from the property, obtained from the property appraiser website. During my inspection, I found the property located at 4937 Melissa Lane to be in violation of Section 38-26, abandoned property, junk, trash, and debris, outside storage. Section 13.09.00, exterior property maintenance code. Section 303.2, protected treatment. Please remove the mold and mildew from the structure. Section 13.09.00, exterior property maintenance code. Section 303.2, protected treatment. Please repair the fascia. Section 13.08.01, standard housing code. Section 302.2, protected treatment. Please repair the rotten wood siding in the rear of the structure and on the side. Section 13.09.00, exterior property maintenance code. Exterior structure. The rear porch roof is damaged and needs to be repaired. Please contact the permanent department to obtain a permit and repair. I issue a notice of violation date on January the 16th, 2026. Get a compliance date of January 30, 2026. For gain of compliance, certified notice to appear for the June 3rd, 2026 school board meeting was issued on April the 20th, 2026, and posted April the 22nd, 2026. In the past, I have remained in contact with the property owner, and in the past, I was made aware that the owner of the property passed away. So June 1st, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you, Mr. Marrero.
You're welcome.
How are you related to this estate?
I was living there trying to help Ed. He was going to adopt me as his daughter, but he passed before we could do that. I've talked with the granddaughter and one of the brothers, and they're not willing to come down and do anything. I've got a friend that's helping me. His mom just passed away. He was taking care of her. We've worked on the trailer. We've got it where it's almost ready to where we can move stuff better.
But you really have no legal ties to this property.
No, I don't.
And the case is not in probate? Do you know if
No.
the heirs have initiated any probate proceedings?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we find it in violation, it's going to be against the estate. It's not going to be against you personally.
Yes.
Just to let you know at this point, because that's the way it is. I guess you could be put in, they could find you in violation as a tenant if they wanted to bring that forward. I don't know. But that's up to staff. But I mean, right now I'm looking at this. We're going to have to move this case forward and try to get them to do something, because if they are the heirs to the estate, there's going to be a lien against the estate, and at some point, they're not going to get their inheritance. You know, I mean, that's how it works. So I'm just letting you know that this looks bad.
It does.
It does, and I mean, I see the first three have been abated, but the others haven't. So we're going to get a compliance stand, and I can see ultimately that probably a fine's going to be imposed, but it's not going to be imposed against you right now. It's going to be imposed against the estate of Edmund A. Taylor.
I have acquired wood to fix the east wall. And once that's fixed, I can fix the south wall, but I need to know what I can do with the porch.
Well,
I can't acquire any permits.
no, you're not the owner of the property. I don't know what you can do. You don't have any legal rights. You don't have a lease, do you?
I do have a lease. I didn't bring it with me,
With
though.
the estate, with
I'm sorry?
with Mr. Taylor, was it? Or
Yes, it was with Mr.
the
Taylor.
estate? Yeah. So now the estate would be in control of that lease.
And the family's not, like I said, they're not wanting to do anything.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to get, do you have addresses on the family?
I don't have addresses, but I can call and get them.
I think staff, I'm going to find this in violation, and staff, maybe you can mail to the owners, to the heirs of the property, just to let them know.
Yes, we can do that. Thank you.
All right, I mean, that's all we can do with this particular case, but
Okay.
if nobody's been appointed personal representative, this whole thing kind of is in limbo, as you know. So, but we're going to get, I'm not going to sit here and be honest with you continue this or anything. This is serious. I'm not sure it even looks all that safe. All right, but thank you for your candor, and I hope things work out, but I'm going to go in this case. And in reference to 2509, 115799, this case, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 3rd, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. The cost of $200 has been imposed as the cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. It's 10:02. We're going to take a brief recess for 10 minutes, okay? And then we'll resume. Thank you. Okay, all the players are here. Let's go. Let's resume with our violation hearings. Next up, case number 2604, 116930. Location of violation 5701 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Alliance National Holdings LLC. I believe this is a trust. Is anybody here representing the trust? All right. We see no one. We'll move on. Case number 2604-117207. Location of violation 6007 Buchanan Drive, Fort Pierce. The property owner is Cecilia Bahamon, and I believe this is a life estate. Please come forward, state your name and address, and be sworn in.
Maria Bahamon. Maria Bahamon, 37 Harbor Isle Drive East, apartment PH5, 34949, Fort Pierce, Florida.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
How are you related to this property?
Cecilia is my mother-in-law. She's right there.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we'll hear from the investigating officer first, and that's Mr. Guevara, and then you'll have an opportunity to tell me what's going on.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Krieger. For the record, I'm submitting 3 photos dated May 1st, 2026, and 3 dated June 1st, 2026. 6007 Buchanan Drive was found in violation of section 130801, dirty pool, 130900, chain link fence in disrepair, 1309.00, porch screen in disrepair, 130900, mold and mildew-like substance, and 8.00.05 unsecured pool. A notice of violation letter was issued on May 1st, 2026, and it was only a 5-day compliance letter because of the life safety issue with the unsecured pool. A notice to appear letter was issued on May 7th, 2026 for the board hearing of today's date, June 3rd, 2026. As of June 1st, 2026, the property remains in violation. I've had contact with the property owner's son and daughter-in-law. They're working to rectify the violations, and they're here to request more time. I think the most pending issue, Mr. Krieger, is the unsecured pool. We're able to give them more time on everything else because it's property maintenance, but we would like that pool to be secure as soon as possible.
Understood, Mr. Guevara. Yes.
The fence of the house is being repaired as we speak. It probably will be finished by Monday, and I'm seeking more time to secure, replace this screen port and keep up with the maintenance. I have pictures and a video.
You can certainly submit any pictures, but are you telling me the pictures that Mr. Guevara is showing are not accurate?
No, I have pictures of the work of the fence that is being repaired right now.
So you are doing that?
Yes, that has been.
I'd like to see that.
Okay.
If you can put it up or show them to Mr. Guevara and to the county attorney. The fence is good. So the whole thing's fenced in now around the pool? I know the screen enclosure is not fixed.
The screen is not fixed, but the chain link fence is up on all sides.
On all sides, so no child can get to the pool?
So they must have done that between Monday and today.
Can we show your magistrate the photo?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah, because I always worry about a youngster or a pet even getting in there. Oh, very nice. Okay. So you got them.
We're gonna call them with more time for the other stuff. Our main concern was the pool, so.
Yeah, sure, that would be mine as well.
Yeah.
You gotta get the screen room now fixed?
The screens on the porch, clean the dirty pool, and then remove the mold and mildew-like substance throughout the screens.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot that has to be done. Have you talked to a screening contractor?
We have, yes.
Because, now's the time to get it done before hurricane season, because those things go down, and getting somebody to repair anything is a nightmare.
Yes, sir.
And, Your Honor, I would just like to stress that it is a sanitary hazard to have a pool like that, so it would be,
Yeah, that can be cleaned, chlorine, and get a pool company out there, they'll clean that
that is a
up.
major concern for the county, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what date would you like for compliance? I mean, the default date is July 3rd. They're here. They've done something.
I don't have a problem giving them a little bit more time. They
But
do
we'll
have, they're speaking on behalf of the owner because she has some medical issues.
Sure.
So the son and the daughter-in-law are trying to get it in compliance. I would defer to legal, but I don't have a problem giving them more than the
the 30
default time.
days?
Do you want it sooner? Or?
I think 30 days is fine due to the nature of the.
Well, that would be the default date anyway, if
Right.
nobody showed up. So I certainly won't do anything before that because they showed up. But I'm thinking, do we go past the default date? Give them a little more time.
Okay, just a little bit more time, Your Honor.
Well, counsel, please give me a thought and talk with your client, the investigating officer.
We could do 60 days.
60 days.
So we could do, let's see. 'Cause I'm not continuing it. We're gonna
Yeah.
find him in violation.
I see.
So that, that the clock will be ticking to get this all finished up or you're gonna be fined. I'm just letting you know because of the gravity of the situation here. But then we would, we had July 1st.
We do July 3rd.
Well, that's the compliance date for the default.
I'm sorry.
So then we could go August.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, like, for instance.
You do August 3rd, then they will be before you August 5th if it's not in compliance.
Okay.
That way it won't go till.
August 3rd, well, if I go August 3rd, then the next day, if it's not in compliance, it goes to a fine hearing.
Right, so it won't be for
The fine hearing will be
September's fine hearing,
September.
it'll be August's fine hearing.
What, are you sure? I think
Yeah, because it'll be before the hearing. The hearing will be the 5th. So if you do August 3rd, it'll give me 1 day to reinspect on the 4th.
Oh, okay, so that'll be enough time to
Right.
inspect
Yeah.
and do it?
Yeah.
Okay, counsel, any problem with that?
Time to reinspect for you?
Yeah.
So we can have a fine hearing in August if we have to.
Yes, please.
Or you want to, I don't know if you want to set it for July 31st and then I'll go Monday.
Gives you more time?
Yeah, I'll go
All right.
Monday the 3rd.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do that. I want to make sure you have enough time to go
Yeah,
up there
that's
and
better.
look
Yeah.
at it.
July 31st is better.
So you understand what we're doing here. We're gonna give you some time till July 31st to get everything taken care of, okay?
I
If
would.
if not, and particularly getting that pool cleaned, you'll have to come back for a fine hearing, and then you'll have to show me what you've done, okay?
Okay.
And so the more you do, the less likelihood you'll get a major fine.
I know. I was seeking for 120 days since we have to do it ourselves due to financial
Well,
issues.
there's really a health hazard here. You're going to have to figure it out. I'm sorry. I think we're being pretty lenient, 60 days. Okay? That's my feeling on this. Okay? All right. You come back in August and show me what you've done. Certainly get
Hopefully
that
it will
pool
be done
cleaned.
by August.
Certainly get it done, and then we'll go. We'll look at it then, all right?
Yes.
But I don't want to table it or anything like that. I want to move this forward because of the gravity of the situation.
Okay.
Case number 2604-117207. In reference to that case, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I, as special magistrate, determined that the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation, an order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 31st, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. I'm not going to impose a cost of prosecution. That'll be $200. You can use that for a pool company to clean that pool, all right? Because of the financial situation. Want to see that pool cleaned out, all right? Get rid of all that algae and everything. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. Okay, good luck to you, and hopefully I don't see you again. You'll get it all done.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Case number 2603-116857. Location of the violation is 8110 Carnoustie Place in Port St. Lucie. The property owner is Daryl Shane R. and Brett T. Lynch out of East New York, Quogue, New York. Anybody here representing this group? See no one. We'll move on. Case number 2604-116929. Location of violation is 5615 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner is David J. Bauman. Mr. Bauman or Bauman. Nobody's here, so we'll move on. Case number 2304-110333. Location of violation is 3742 Shin Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is White Marsh, LLC. Yes, sir. Please approach, name, address, and be sworn in.
George Pantuso, 123 Queen Isabella Court, Fort Pierce, Florida.
You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Mr. Mantuso, how are you related to this property?
Manager, owner?
Okay, so you're manager in the LLC.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, let's hear from the investigating officer, Ms. Moyes.
For the record, I am submitting 7 photos dated April 6, 2023, 13 photos dated December 11, 2024, 4 photos dated May 12, 2026, and 4 photos dated June 1, 2026. During my first inspection, I found the property located at 3742 Shin Road in violation for Section 11.05.00 Procedure for obtaining development permit to please obtain a permit for the zoning compliance for the business. Section 11.05.01 Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the fence and gates. Section 11.05.01 Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the new structure. Section 42-103 Payment of tax prerequisites to engaging in business to please obtain a business tax receipt for the business. A notice of violation was issued on April 7, 2023, with a correction date of April 21, 2023. After getting no compliance, a certified notice to appear was issued on August 8, 2023 for the September 6, 2023 code enforcement meeting, which staff made a decision to remove the case from the agenda to allow the owner more time. After some time, due to the violations not being corrected, a certified notice to appear was issued on December 10, 2024 for the January 8, 2025 code enforcement meeting. Staff again made a determination to remove the case from the agenda to allow the owner more time to bring the property into compliance. On December 2nd, 2025, due to non-compliance, a certified notice to appear was issued for the June 3rd, 2026 special magistrate meeting. In addition, a notice to appear was issued and hand-delivered on May 12, 2026 for the June 3rd, 2026 special magistrate meeting. The notice was given to Renee in the office. The owner has been in contact with staff. As of June 3rd, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you, Ms. Moyes.
You're welcome.
I don't know who we want to hear from first. Ms. Lanise, our business navigator, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm simply here to provide any information you need about the steps that are required to reach approval.
Thank you. All right, sir. You're up. You've heard what staff has to say. What's going on? Why haven't you gotten this stuff done?
I've had to submit twice for the permits for the actual amendment to the land, and that's what's taken so long. We got approvals in, I want to say, October. After about 15 months, we got it all approved, and then I determined, because of my own ignorance or not knowing much about development, that that wasn't doable. I had to resubmit and do it all over again, and that's the delay. We just got our approvals May 19th, 2 weeks ago, and I had the engineer send me yesterday a letter, which I can leave with you. As a follow-up to our discussion about permitting status, please find a list of required permits needed to make code enforcement improvements and their permitting status. St. Lucie County Site Plan Modification approved, which I just got on the 19th. North St. Lucie Water Control District permit, 2 permits approved. South Florida Water Management, 2 permits will be issued June 3rd, which is today. St. Lucie County Site Construction Permit, 2 permits, right-of-way and Site 4, which is all the pictures you're looking at, are submitted pending review. These permits could not be submitted until the site plan modification was approved. And that's the delay. We're talking, it's 3 years. But to go through the process, it took, and then I did it again.
Building official?
William Durden, Plans Examiner. The permit was applied for back in 25.
This is for the zoning compliance?
No, this is for the building permit itself. It was voided.
All right, the building permit, let me make sure, okay.
The permit was voided due to the site plan approval. Until the site plan approval was completed, we could not move forward with the permit. So the permit, if you've gotten all that in place now, and planning is completed with their requirements, then resubmittal of the permit can be done.
So based on his testimony, how much time do you think?
Depending on what plans is planning.
I brought a set of plans with me, and these are what the county approved for the site, and now the construction.
That's the site development plan? We need the building plans for the building department.
Correct, and that's being submitted.
Okay.
But I had to have this approved first.
Once they're submitted, it usually takes, it could take up to, 20 days or so, and then goes to fire for their review and their approval, and then it moves forward from there.
Okay.
You made a comment earlier about would you spend the money to correct it? I've spent it twice. I will correct it all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Ms. Lanise, do you have anything to say?
Sure. Mr. Pentuso has indeed been through quite a challenging process. We had to amend the land development code in order to allow utility contractors to operate on agricultural land, and he's been one of our test subjects for that process. His first approvals were received in March of 2025, and then there was a decision made to relocate some of the stormwater and drainage in order to create an additional parking area, additional utility contractor lot. That was just approved on May 19th. He has a couple of conditions that have to be met in order for that to move forward. The first is that a traffic analysis has to be completed before he can apply for the site development permit. The site development permit could certainly be put in there, but Public Works is not going to move forward with it until everybody's come to an agreement about how much traffic is actually happening on this site. They are trying to understand what kind of lanes will be needed on the road in order to accommodate the vehicles that are coming in and out of there, because they're certainly meeting a demand, a high demand for utility contractor parking out there.
Right.
There's also a condition of approval that all of the building permits be applied for within 120 days of the conditional use approval, so that needs to be done by September. And that is for all of the unpermitted building structures on there. So the fences, the building, the site lighting, the dumpster enclosure, generally all of the things that White Marsh has done to create an effective and operational site. We're going back and filling in the dots on how that process gets completed. Once all that's done, the actual work will be completed. That part should go pretty smoothly because a lot of it's been done already. So we're hopeful that that will pass all of the inspections and be completed quickly. At that point, then they can go ahead and apply for their zoning compliance. They could apply for it now, but it's just going to sit there and review until the work is done. So once that's all done, then we can get that issued. And it's a lot of work to do.
Would staff be amenable to a continuance?
Yeah. Paula Guy, Code Enforcement Supervisor. The county doesn't object to a continuance where we could come back and review the progress
Review what's
made.
going on, the progress, 90 days?
90 days, it could be, I think, 6 months.
Really?
Yes, as long as the officers are on communication on a monthly basis, tracking the progress, because it is a lot of extensive things.
All right. Well, let's revisit this at the end of the year then. That
Thank
about
you.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Counsel, any problem with that?
No, Your Honor, that'll be fine.
Okay. All right, in reference to case number 2304, and you're taking a lot of steps, so that's why we're going to continue it. 2304, 110, 333. With regard to this case, I, as special magistrate, will continue this to our hearing on December 2nd, 2026.
Thank you. Thank you.
Case number 2601, 116534, location of violation 5511 Green Dolphin Street in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Jordan Brown, and I've been informed this case has been abated. All right, we have companion cases now, 15 and 16 in our violation hearings. I'll read both of them, and then we'll hear from the investigating officer, Ms. Moyes. Case number 2604, 117036, location of violation 7440 South Ocean Drive, Jensen Beach. The property owner, Sand Dollar Shores Condominium Association, Inc. And the companion case, case number 2604, 117037, location of violation 7440 South Ocean Drive, Jensen Beach. Property owner, Sand Dollar Shores Condominium Association Incorporated. Is anybody here to represent the condominium association? Well, we see no one. We're going to move on then. Case number 2404-112776. Location of the violation is 12387 Orange Avenue in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Amador and Maria Morales. And I believe we have counsel.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Krieger.
Please identify yourself.
I am Logan Wellmeyer of the Dean Mead Law Firm, here on behalf of the Moraleses.
Okay, thank you. As counsel, you don't have to be sworn in, of course, as an officer of the court. So, we're going to hear from the investigating officer, Miranda Moyes.
Yes, for the record, I am submitting 7 photos dated April 4th, 2024, 2 photos dated May 10th, 2024, 2 photos dated November 13th, 2024, 5 photos dated May 4th, 2026, and 3 photos dated June 1st, 2026. During my first inspection, I found a property located at 12387 Orange Avenue in violation for Section 11.05.00, Procedure for Obtaining Development Permits, to please obtain a permit for the zoning compliance for the business on the property, Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits, to please obtain a permit for the mobile modular / structure, Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits, to please obtain a permit for the cargo containers, Section 42-103, Payment of tax prerequisites, to engaging in business, to please obtain a business tax receipt for the business. A notice of violation was issued on April 5th, 2024, with a correction date of April 19th, 2024. After getting no compliance, a certified notice to appear was issued on December 2nd, 2025, for the June 3rd, 2026 special magistrate meeting. The certified notice was signed for on December 5th, 2025. In addition, a notice to appear was issued and posted on the property on May 12th, 2026. Staff has had contact with the owner as of June 3rd, 2026. The property remains in violation.
Thank you, Ms. Moyes. Counselor, state your case.
Yes, sir. As you can see in this picture here, it's being used. This is another electrical subcontractor issue. Just like Thondra said about the last, which I believe is the Ag 5 acre category, we needed to change the land development code, the text, to permit electrical subcontractors with specialty storage in the Ag 2.5 zoning. So we've accomplished that. Well, I guess let me back up. Like I said, this is the highest and best use of this particular parcel, and it's our understanding that the tenant has nowhere else to go, just to explain why the tenant is still there despite being in violation. So our choice is we need to bring the property to the code as opposed to bring the property under the code, or bring the code to the property, I guess is the better way to think of it. So we've managed to get the change to the land development code. We are in the process, the change was we were allowed to have electrical subcontractors under the Ag 2.5 as a conditional use, not as of right use. So we are currently in the process of seeking a conditional use application. In the interim, we had a meeting with county staff planning in order to figure out what elements we would need specifically with respect to a site plan. We now have a draft site plan. We are applying for the conditional use permit, And after our first meeting, with taking a look at that new site plan, then we will also be applying for a site plan approval, and that should bring us under compliance, sir.
Thank you for that. Looks like steps are being taken. Your client seems to be moving forward
Yes, sir.
appropriately. Ms. Lanise, anything to add?
So the conditional use permit was submitted. It will go before the Development Review Committee next week. We'll have a better understanding then of how close it is to approval. As Logan noted, there is a requirement for a site plan to accompany it. Not unlike the White Marsh situation, there will be a requirement for some site improvements as well. As you can see in these photos, the site is largely unpaved. So there will be some requirements for development permits in order to complete that work. They do have the benefit of already being on Orange Avenue, so that does help them with their access at least. We'll be getting them through as quickly as we can. Again, this is one of our new test subjects, allowing this new use in the Ag 2.5, trying to pivot to allow some of our agricultural properties to find new sources of income. And we will know shortly how quickly we can get through it.
Thank you.
I would like to add, sir, if I
Sure.
may, there is a dearth of properties that can actually, within the zoning code, have electrical subcontractors. So that's sort of what brought all this about. This site is adjacent or abuts a FP&L substation, which is one of the reasons that makes this, the perfect site for the electrical subcontractor.
I get it. You're, I don't know if it's appropriate, but are you sure that your clients are willing to spend the money that needs to be done?
I believe so, sir.
They hired
I
you.
have done my utmost to manage their expectations with respect to the cost. I think we're at least a third way through.
Okay.
Currently. Hopefully, the actual construction of the site plan won't be too expensive. I believe it's just laying down concrete, although I don't think that's cheap.
Yeah.
But I believe so, sir, yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm inclined to continue this case if staff has no objection. Counsel, no objection. As to the previous case,
No objection.
because you had a lot of work to do, and you're obviously doing it, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want compliance, and we want jobs. Okay. Case number 2404-112776. I, as special magistrate, will continue this case to our hearing on December 2nd, 2026. At that point, hopefully you'll have a lot to tell me.
Yes, sir. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have some companion cases again. I'll read them both into the record. Case number 2602-116714, location of violation, 3507 Avenue S in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Albert Roll. And the companion case, 2601-116506, location of violation, 3507 Avenue S in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Albert Roll. Okay. Is anybody here representing Mr. Roll? Well, I see nobody, so we'll just move on. Okay, some more companion cases. Companion cases 20 and 21. Case number 2602-116599. Location of violation is the lot next to 502 Ulrich in Fort Pierce. Property owner James N. Byers, John D. Byers. The companion case, 2604-117043. Location of violation, the lot next to 502 Ulrich, Fort Pierce, Florida. The tenant here on this property is Bev Smith of Stewart Incorporated. Is anybody here with regard to this case? Yes, sir. Please approach and state your name and address.
Michael Smith, 12911 Marsh Point Way, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33418.
You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Smith, tell me your relationship to this property.
I am the compliance officer for Bev Smith Kia,
Okay.
and we are renting, leasing that property from Mr. Byers.
Okay.
Because we're developing a new store across the street on US 1 in Fort Pierce from our current location. And in the development of that, we were using that property to store inventory. And we lost that ability as the site was being developed. So we entered into an agreement with Mr. Byers to use the lot there, that's his property, to store vehicles.
Okay, thank you. So you're with Bev Smith, you're with the tenant, so you're representing them. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, let's hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Avino.
Good morning.
Good
For the
morning.
record, I'm submitting 3 photos dated 4/20/26 and 3 photos dated 6/1/26. Lot next to 502 Overage was found in violation of section 11.05.00 procedure for obtaining permits. Please obtain a zoning compliance permit for the business on the property. 3.01.03I residential single-family 3 parking and storing of vehicles not allowed in a residential property. Please remove all vehicles and cease storing and parking. And 32-93 operation and parking of motor vehicles. Parking is not allowed on the county right-of-way. Please remove vehicles and cease from parking on the county right-of-way. An NOV letter was issued on 4/20/26 after receiving no compliance. A NTA letter was issued 5/12/26 for the code board hearing of 6/3/26. As of 6/1/26, the property remains in violation. I've had contact with the representative. He's here today. Also, a neighbor is here who is the complainant who would like to be heard.
Okay, very good. A lot of cars there, Mr. Smith.
We had a lot of inventory to
Yeah, but
find spaces
how
for.
long does your company plan to keep those cars there?
Well, our original plan was to have a piece of our new site developed, paved, lighted, drainage developed so that we could then put that inventory there. Unfortunately, due to different delays in permitting, weather, and whatnot, we have not. And also, we submitted a request to the city of Fort Pierce to develop that and use it as a temporary use area. And we have not received an answer yet from the city on whether we can use it. And we're probably still 60 to 90 days away from actually getting the work done to be able to use it.
Okay, thank you. I have some photos that were given by somebody, the complainant,
The photos were for the complainant.
and the complainant is here?
Yes, she's here.
All right, Mr. Smith, let's hear from the person who filed the complaint. Yeah, just step aside and let's hear, and then, hi.
Hi there. Good morning.
Please state your name, address, and be sworn in.
Wendy Ditmar, 601 Ulrich Road, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34982.
You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You live on Ulrich Road? How close to this
Less than, if you're looking at the current picture that's on there, if you go to the intersection of Ulrich and Melville, we are to the left of that corner.
How long have these cars been there?
Months.
Yeah.
And it's, sir, if I could just
No,
state,
please.
it's not just these cars. They have at least twice a week car haulers coming in, and it's not about them trying to remove some of those cars from that lot. They're adding to it on a daily basis. Not only that, they've got staff members that are parking along the right-of-way on Ulrich Road, just beyond the convenience store on Ulrich in US 1 daily. And it's to the point where the road is narrow enough that if the car hauler's there unloading, there's very little room for a bus or a dump truck or a personal vehicle to get by. And like I said, it's more than once or twice a week. It's even occurring on the weekends. In fact, this past Saturday, I believe it was, there was a car hauler parked there and multiple personal vehicles trying to get by, and they just cannot because of the size of the car hauler. It's been ongoing since at least February of this year. I know the owners of that property had been clearing that property, whether it was permitted or not. They've removed multiple trees. They've basically gutted the property, and I'm assuming to assist them in this process. It's a hindrance. I mean, we have kids in this neighborhood. I have lived in this neighborhood for over 25 years. And I just think it's based on the greed of the Kia dealership and that they continue to order vehicles, not having the room or the ability to store them, and they're using a residential neighborhood to their benefit. And I think it just is not correct. It's not right. It's been going on for months, and they've done nothing to assist and remove the vehicles. Thank you.
I have all your pictures, and we're putting them into evidence here. Has Mr. Smith seen these pictures? He has a copy of them? Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Smith, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yes, I'd just like to correct some of the things that were said. We are having the car haulers that bring our new vehicles in. Right now, as far as I know, the only inventory vehicles that are on that property are used vehicles. They're not new vehicles. We're not storing new vehicles there. The car hauler pulls off on Ulrich to unload the cars. We have an agreement with the Shell station there that we have a way to we can go behind there, take the cars behind their station and onto our lot where we put the new cars. As far as I know, like I said, there's only used cars we're not taking the new cars off the truck and putting them there, but we are unloading them there on Ulrich because we used to unload them across the street where we're developing. They can't unload there. We didn't want them stopping on US 1, as some dealers along US 1 do have their car carrier stopping on US 1 and blocking a lane of US 1 while they're unloading. We were trying to avoid that situation, so we've been having them pull off on Ulrich and then take the cars, unload the cars, and put them on our lot, not on the lot on Ulrich.
How many dealership locations does Bev Smith have? Quite a few in Florida.
Just two, the Bev Smith Kia, and then up the road a little bit on US 1, the Bev Smith Toyota. And we're actually, a lot of our inventory that we had to move from across the street is at our Toyota location. So we're trying to, find places for everything. Obviously, it's very difficult right now with lack of space to store all the inventory that we need.
Anybody else have anything to say with regard to? Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna rule on this case. I'm concerned about the neighbors on here, and I think a big company can do more. Case number 2602-116599. In reference to that case, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur, and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 3rd, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as the cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. With regard to the companion case, 2604-117043, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur, and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 3rd, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. The cost of $200 has been imposed as the cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month, after the date given for compliance, at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. Thank you. So you'll have to make other arrangements. You'll have to make other arrangements by July 3rd.
No problem.
Okay.
We've been working on that, so we'll
Yeah, if you
definitely
can
be
get
out of
something
there.
worked out, then, but if not, there'll be a fine.
We'll absolutely be out of there by July 3rd.
Okay.
No question.
Okay, take care.
Okay, thank you.
And I chose that date because it is the default date that was recommended by staff.
Thank you.
On that. It's fine. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, case number 2602-116650. Location of the violation is 2746 Mohawk Avenue in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Brian Smith and Kelly Smith. Are the Smiths here? All right, please state your name and address and be sworn in.
Brian Smith, 474 Waters Drive, St. Lucie Village, Florida.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. Mr. Smith, we'll hear from Mr. Avino first, the investigating officer, then you'll have an opportunity to speak. Mr. Avino.
Good morning. For the record, I'm submitting 5 photos dated 2/17/26, 2 dated 2/18/26, 4 photos dated 6/1/26. 2746 Mohawk Avenue was found in violation of Section 13.0801 Standard Housing Code. Section 304 exterior structure, the roof is damaged on both structures and needs to be repaired. 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code 304-13, please repair all broken windows, obtain any necessary permits required for replacement.
Excuse me, Mr. Avino. My monitor is not working. Is there a tech here, Dan? I got to see the pictures. I think you showed me one time how to do it, but. Thank you, sir.
I know the thing is that one's 10. No, it's one parcel. It's all one parcel.
Okay.
It's all.
So
Yeah, that's what, I know, sorry.
All right, Mr. Avino, I have the photographs now, so I have a clearer picture, no pun intended, as to what's going on here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The last section is 13.09.00 exterior property maintenance. Section 303.2 protective treatment. Please repair the rotten wood on the structure, obtain any necessary permits required for replacement. An NOV letter was issued on 2/18/26. After receiving no compliance, a NTA letter was issued 4/21/26 for the court board hearing of 6/3/26. As of 6/1/26, the property remains violation, and I've had contact with the owner.
You have, okay. All right, sir, you're up. Tell me what's going on. What are you doing?
It needs a new roof and some windows
Please,
fixed.
please speak into the microphone.
The place does need a new roof, and the windows are broken.
So when are you gonna do it?
What is it that I actually need to have fixed?
Well, the officer, I think, explained that, but
There's
go
two
ahead.
broken windows at the front that I could have the glass repaired in, and there's some rotten wood,
Yeah.
and that would abate it.
Also, fixing, painting the facade of the building. Was the house like burned or something?
It had
Fire?
a little fire in the back on the left apartment.
Code Enforcement Supervisor Guy. The exterior walls need to be repaired into good workmanship, like, I'm not sure what that is, if that's mold or if that's from the fire,
It could be pressure clean, and painted.
if that brings it into compliance.
I'm not aware. I'm not really sure what I have to do to make you guys. So the place can't have mold on it, can't have mildew.
No,
It can't
no.
have rotten wood.
Correct. The exterior, the exterior walls, structures, they need to be secured.
Who's the complainant on this one? Because we keep
Well,
the
I'm
yard,
not sure.
the yard mowed up, and
Yeah, I
I've been
know.
trying to get to it. I just don't have the.
This
funds.
case was generated, it was a referral from a complaint from the city of Fort Pierce
Okay,
that referred it over to us.
yeah,
But yes, I do want to get it fixed and get the place
okay.
inhabited.
All right, well, you just heard what they said. You gotta get a permit, replace the rotten wood. Permit repair.
Magistrate, this is William Durden,
Yes, sir.
Examiner. This fire damage area here on this structure, if this structure was under fire at any given time, then it's gonna need a structural analysis on that roof to make sure that that roof is in good repair. If not, then whatever needs to be repaired on it needs to be repaired.
Okay.
I know you're asking questions about what needs to be done or whatever. The roofing, if it's leaking or whatever, those need to be.
They're not leaking right now.
Why
There's
are the
actually
roofs
people in
tarped?
Sir?
Why are the roofs tarped?
Because we had that storm come through, and I had a few shingles blow off, and FEMA was able to tarp them for us.
Okay, well, if it comes to find out that the roofs need to be taken care of, then they need to be.
Yeah, no, we
addressed.
will. That's what the plan is. I just haven't had the time or money to get it all back together.
Okay.
When did,
Was there a fire when, I have to go back and look through our records to see if there was a fire report done on this structure. I do not know.
We weren't provided with that information.
Okay.
yes, sir,
It needs
what
to-
happened to this building? Was there a fire?
In the laundry room, there was a fire in the
Well, you own this property?
yes, sir.
And the fire, was that tenants caused that?
Yes, sir.
It's vacant now, I would assume.
Yes, sir. It's been vacant.
How long ago was that fire and it's been vacant?
It's over a year ago.
It's over a
yeah.
year.
We didn't have insurance, so I'm trying to get the funds myself to put it back together. So that's what I'm trying to see, if I just get a roof put on and the fascia and the windows done for now, to get code enforcement off the case here.
Well, they'd have to inspect it.
I would like to recommend and request to schedule an inspection with the property owner, with the building inspector,
To really get an
and the
idea.
code enforcement to assist him in what really needs to be done to make the structure safe again.
Yeah, that only makes sense, so he really knows, it seems like he wants to do it.
Correct.
And we want compliance, so can you set up an appointment in the next month or so, and we can
I
continue
can
this?
set an appointment in 2 weeks.
You can set an appointment 2 weeks, go along with somebody, they're gonna appoint a building inspector, everything that's gotta be done. You may not like hear what you got, but at least you'll know what you're up against.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue this case. I'm gonna continue this case. Case number 2602-116650 to our next hearing, which is July 1st, 2026. So you'll have the inspection, I should say, within that period. And staff has said they're going to do it with you. So coordinate and get that done, and then you'll have a better idea of what's going on, too.
Okay, sir. Brian, BRIA again.
Oh, I have that. I just need to
772-201-6448.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 2604-116-984, 3705 Avenue J in Fort Pierce. Property owner is Jacqueline A. Williams, and this has been removed for compliance efforts. Case number 2603-116-774, location of violation 6111 Tedder Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Precision Rentals and Investments, LLC. Anybody here representing the company? Seeing no one, we'll move on. Case number 2602-116-734. Location of violation is 3217 Dubon Terrace in Fort Pierce. Property owner is Seiko Equity Fund Y, LLC. This case has been abated. Case number 2602-116-676. Location of violation 215 North 40th Street in Fort Pierce. Property owner Charles P. Marius and Helen Thermidor, and this case has been abated. And we have an addendum. This is case number 2605, 117259. Location of violation 2510 Tamarind Drive in Fort Pierce, and the property owner is German American Trading and Tourism Corporation. And I see Ms. Canales stayed with us all morning, and you've been sworn in already, I believe. So, Ms. Canales, the record, she doesn't have to
Yeah,
be sworn.
just state your name for the record,
Yeah.
that's all.
Melissa Canales.
Okay. All right, let's hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Moreira.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated May 11, 2026. One movie dated May 11, 2026 that was shot inside the apartment. One photo dated June 1st, 2026. And a property image obtained from the St. Lucie County Property Appraiser website. During my inspection, I found the property located at 2510 Tamarind Drive to be in violation of Section 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code. The electricity must be restored to meet the minimum standard for habitation. Issue a notice of violation letter May 12, 2026, and give a compliance date of May 17, 2026. Triggering a compliance certified notice to appear for June 3rd, 2026. Code board meeting was issued May 20 and posted May 22nd of 2026. In the past, I have remained in contact with a property maintenance, Ms. Canales, and as of June 2nd, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Anything to say, Ms. Canales?
Okay. There is a property manager for the motels. I spoke with her. She informed me that they're not going to be renting that unit or the unit next door because of issues with those two units, and she just recently sent me a picture that somebody took the meter itself from the back. The FPL is supposed to be working on there. The power bill was paid last week, and because of all the electrical issues, she's now saying that they turned the power off and that the meter was also removed. So somebody's messing with the meters there. I don't know if we have to have power there if he is not going to be renting that unit, and I usually just work with the mainland. I'm here representing him again.
I understand. Yeah.
So in previous cases like this one, even though the tenant has moved, we still made the owner responsible for corrective violations. So when another tenant moves in, they don't have any issues on this property. But that's all I have to add.
Right, and this is a motel, so I mean, it's possible this would be used again at some point.
Correct.
So I think it would
this
have to
point,
be
they're not
done. I
going
think
to.
it's got to be done. You can't have what's a potential dwelling just sitting like that. Okay.
And your magistrate, I may add, we do have a roof permit, a roof case against this property, but it's a separate case. That it does have a water damage, so.
So that's going to, okay. All right, well, we'll give you a little time to get this done. I mean, the outside doesn't look too bad. Are those the units? Which units are we talking about there when you
The
look
one
at
in the
that
middle.
picture?
Yeah, to the left of the walk path, that would be number 7, and then number 8 is the further left.
Left?
Yes, number 8, but the one that has the case is the one right to the left of the walk path.
That's the one where the case is?
Yes, your magistrate.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Well, how long do we have to do this?
I'm thinking 60 days.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Let's do this. In reference to case number 2605-117-259, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted if the order of enforcement is not complied with by August 3rd, 2026. A fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as the cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, let me read in the cases in the record and help me if I miss any of them. I think we had a few, so we can. I'm going to read the cases of people who didn't appear, and please sound the halls as I do this. Case number 2603-116-801. Location of violation, 1167 South Header Canal Road in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Barbara C. Batson and Christy Batson. Case number 2604-116-930. Location of violation, 5701 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Alliance National Holdings LLC Trust. Case number 2603-116-857. Location of violation, 8110 Carnoustie Place in Port St. Lucie. Property owners are Daryl Shane R. and Brett T. Lynch. Case number 2604-116-929. Location of violation is 5615 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner is David G. Bauman. Case number 2604-117036. Location of violation 7440 South Ocean Drive in Jensen Beach. The property owner is Sand Dollar Shores Condominium Association, Incorporated. Case number 2604-117037. Location of violation 7440 South Ocean Drive in Jensen Beach. The property owner again is Sand Dollar Shores Condominium Association, Incorporated. Case number 2602-116714. Location of violation 3507 Avenue S in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Albert Roll. Case number 2601-116506. Location of violation is 3507 Avenue S in Fort Pierce. The property owner again is Albert Roll. Case number 2603-116774. Location of violation is 6111 Tedder Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Precision Rentals and Investments, LLC. I believe that's all the cases where individuals or companies did not appear. So the halls, have they been sounded?
The halls have been sounded. Thank you.
Thank you. Then, in reference to the cases read into the record, I, as special magistrate, enter an order finding these alleged violators are in default, as they did not appear to protest the violations against them, and I adopt the recommendations of staff as set forth on the agenda. I believe that's all we have today. I mean, there's no rehearings today, no repeat violations. Referral to the Board of County Commissioners, nothing today. Fine reduction hearings, none today, but we'll have some next month, I see. And then we'll have other business or staff business. Anything else?
No, sir.
Nothing further.
Nothing? Okay. Well then. Let's adjourn at 11:20 a.m.